I'm finally able to see Bridgerton season 3. And listen, remember when we thought that the green dress that was leaked at Bath was her arrival scene? Like, that's what it was. Like, we all were like, masquerade, something else. It was her arrival scene. It's so good. And then we're also seeing an actress from who's also known in Call the Midwife and Polite Society. And also, many of us had thought that, like, you know, everybody was waiting outside Eloise's door, and she was like giving a, like, she was like taking her time to get ready for the ball. And I had thought that, like, with Francesca, she's already gonna get ready and her family's gonna be like, wait, where is she? She was playing the pianoforte, y'all. The debutantes flirting with Colin Bridgerton. I'm like, no, like, stop that. Like, and then it's just like, no. I can't. I was just like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm so used to, for 2 years, we have seen Colin a certain way, and now we're seeing, like, a very flirtatious Colin, which is what he's supposed to be from the books, and I'm like, who is this? But also, like, in the best way possible. Like, I'm here for it, but I'm also not here for it, if that makes sense. Okay, not Portia Featherington literally going and not having any man telling us what to do, with her son-in-laws being like, what are we? I'm so here for it. If there's one thing I've learned, it's to expect the unexpected. Oh, Colin. Oh, I wish Penelope could hear him say this stuff. It's like when you hear your best guy friend that you've known for a while and he says a line and you're like, really, dude? And that's just how I feel like we are with Colin right now. It's like, they're moves, granted, but it's also like you've known somebody for so long, you're just like, okay. Initial thoughts with the Eloise and Penelope situation, I'm almost thinking, like, Eloise does not want to hang out with Cressida, but at the same time, she does not want to hang out with Penelope. And she also doesn't want to see her friend bullied by Cressida. So a midway point is to have Cressida as a friend and also pull Cressida away from Penelope. It's a weird situation, but I'm not 100% sold that she's going to be mad at Penelope for long, but we shall see. This is like borderline Michael and Francesca in a way to me. The way Colin is like, I can't. If I told you my travels, you would just swoon. Like, very much like keep you, like, although Michael and Francesca, Michael would tell everything to Francesca leading up to the bedroom, because he does have a line where he's like, I told you everything, but I always left you outside wondering more. And that's like the vibe I'm kind of getting from, like, Colin. And maybe that works out, because maybe, you know, with Michael, he's like, I know what it's like to be wicked or something. I don't know, but like, that's vibes I'm getting. You are flowers in bloom, each one of you. Like, Penelope, come set this man straight, humble this man. And like the way I'm just like over here being like, this is playing into even a wallflower can bloom, because I wonder if we will circle back to this. If I told you even the slightest detail, I would be forced to marry you. Man, the lines just keep coming. Remember when we had a montage of Anthony, like, just going at it? We don't have that with Colin. Instead, we have a montage of him teasing and being like, oh, I've done things, but I can't tell you because I would have to marry you. Do you know, like when you've grown up with a man, you know him, and then all of a sudden he decides to get all swagger and everything? Okay, this man, I know why this man frustrates me so much. It's because if you have been the best girl space friend, then you know the feeling of like knowing a guy your whole freaking life, and then over the summer something changes and he has this whole different personality, and then he comes up to you bringing that personality, and you're like, who the heck are you? And what are you doing? Oh, when she was like, y'all, I have this one guy friend. Well, we're not really friends anymore, but I remember we spent an entire summer together. We grew up in high school and everything like that, whatever. He then goes and gets a girlfriend at his college, and I was at my college. I run into him at a soccer game, and he was like, Ainsley, like, why didn't you tell me you were going to be here? I had not heard from this man since he got this girlfriend, and I was like, didn't think that you wanted to talk to me anyways. And he was like, what? And I was like, didn't think it would matter. I was so mad. Like, the way she was like, is it? And I'm like, girl, I feel ya. Okay, while it's not like a typical makeover montage like you have in a rom-com, this is just, it's so good. This is Penelope's revenge dress. The first song that we get at the Danbury Ball is A, B, C, D, F, U by Gail, and it's her revenge dress, y'all. This is her. Y'all.
I think I'm staring it off.
This is her.
Jealousy, my love. You are mine. It is not us they stare at.
And every suitor is looking at her, but who doesn't see her? Colin, of course.
Colour, that's her prerogative.
Look, his bag. Turn around. But you best believe he watched her when she walked by. Oh, he was like, that's right. I'm so loving this. Poor Pen trying to talk to these suitors, and I feel for her. The amount of just rambling one can do with somebody that they're trying to impress or just talk to. Like, she was just, like, one guy was like, you look very nice in your evening gown, and she's like, you too. The way we have all been there. I love how the writers are just like spinning this entire like season in terms of like writing. You have, you know, Penelope saying once one finds oneself on a wall, it's hard to come off. Wallflower, the whole thing. And then Francesca talks about how she's just like saying, you know, I feel as if I'm an insect being inspected under a microscope, when we all know that the Bridgertons are known to be the bees. So like she feels like a bee being inspected under a microscope. Just it's just all so good. Okay, Lord Debling to the somewhat rescue, am I right? Which, here's the thing. One of the first scenes we see in Romance of Mr. Bridgerton is Penelope Featherington eating an eclair, and yeah, and this time she's eating some like ice cream and it gives her a brain freeze. I don't know if that's supposed to be a correlation, but the way he read her, okay, like he was like, are you trying to escape the girl from the sneer? And she's like, I have escaped many a sneer. And he was like, why do I have the feeling that you yourself could like essentially give it back if you wanted to? And I'm like, okay, at first I was like, interested, or is he a spy? So many questions. She did do it. She tore Penelope's dress, y'all. Holy mother effing heck. And the she in question is Cressida Cowper. What? Okay, but the way that Eloise saw it all happen, and then she's like, and then Penelope obviously is running out, runs by Colin, and is then just like, Colin is like, she did not look well. And the guy was like, the Featherington girl. And I'm like, her name is Penelope, or Miss Featherington to you, sir. Anywho, Colin was like, she does not look well, and like leaves them, as he should, because homeboy has a lot of explaining to do, and I think we're about to see that Mr. Bridgerton, good night Mr. Bridgerton scene. But y'all, can I just say, when it comes to girls like Penelope who try to keep it together, who don't want to like let everybody know that she's upset even though she is upset, let me just say, I understand Penelope in this situation. And also the fact that you have the guy who you're interested in being like, what's wrong with you? And obviously you're not going to say anything that's wrong with you, because obviously you overheard him say that he's not interested in you, or has give you a ton of signals that he's not interested in you. So of course you're not going to tell him what's wrong. And like, tell him like, dude, I'm fine. Also, she's better woman than I am, because I would not tell him in ever. And she tells him straight up that she overheard him. At this point in my life, I'm like, I'm not letting him know he had his chance and did not want, so here we are. Anywho, all I'm saying is the fact is she does call him Colin, but I love how she's going to backtrack and be like, good night, Mr. Bridgerton. No more, like, it's gonna be no more informal speak. We are now formal. Sorry, but continuity issue. She took her hairpiece off and they kept it in the shot for this. Just something I noticed. The editing this season for the writing of Lady Whistledown, amazing. Like, I love that they put the letters across her. It is so good. This season's gonna have me screaming at Colin, just being like, because this is a question every freaking girl who has ever been friend zoned by a guy who then wants to give her dating advice when it's clear as freaking day that she likes him, and he's all like, I think you're amazing and you're so kind and wonderful and clever and you make me see the world in a different way and all this jazz and blah blah. And I'm just, and us girls are like, well, then why don't you choose me? Like, why do you think I'm all these wonderful and incredible things and yet you don't want to be with me? Like, this is so frustrating to watch, because there are those of us who have been in the situation where we're like sitting here and a guy who we would gladly say yes to is like, you're amazing, you're awesome, you make me a better person, you make me feel good, and see you as a clever, amazing, da 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 da. I don't know, it's just, ooh. But I will say this, one thing that I do love seeing is the fact that there's now no like pretension in a way, you know, like Penelope's not trying to impress Colin anymore. She's basically herself again, but more like, dude, come on, like, seriously. And it's just like still that quick-witted, amazing Penelope that we all know, but is also using that at Colin and not to impress Colin, if you guys know what I mean. So I'm kind of like, I'm loving this dynamic right now, and I'm loving this like kind of like Pen that's like not trying to put on airs in a way, but it's just like, I'm a clever girl, I know I'm a clever girl, you know I'm a clever girl, and I don't know, it's just like, I'm loving this new Pen, and I'm like hoping that Colin, the season's gonna be good, y'all. They literally did an out of the shadows into the light. Look at this. Look at that light beaming on her. Yes, girl. Keep away from reading a Whistledown. I knew she would. I'm just saying. You can hate your friend, but you still want to stay in touch and figure out what's going on. Oh, I knew it. Look at that face. She knows what she's doing. If only Colin Bridgerton listened to Penelope, he would realize that her saying, does Mr. Bridgerton even know it's her? Anywho, honestly, I don't fault her. I don't fault her for writing that. I'm not gonna lie. I probably would have written something similar if I had overheard my crush saying something bad about me. Yeah, sorry. Colin has to stop saying never. Like, really needs to. Because the way he's like, I will never forgive her. I would never dream of courting Penelope the Featherington. Not in your wildest fantasies, 5. Dude, just lose the word never in your vocabulary is all I'm saying. Just look at Eloise's face. She's like, oh dude, just wait. He is big mad. Like, big mad.
If I ever find out, I will make sure it is her life that is ruined.